I was brought up in a good solid Christian house, good solid Christian church. Through circumstances of my own doing, I found myself away from God, and I guess my first real encounter with someone who I would consider a real Christian outside of what I'd known was a guy called Darren. And Darren was the kind of guy that would just get down and take an interest in your life. And he just kind of went out of his way at work. He was in a higher position than I was. And he went out of his way to help me. He went out of his way to help me in my work, but also went a little bit of a step further and got interested in my life. And he would invite me out to places and different bits and pieces. And along the way, he started sharing why. And it was about the faith that he has in Jesus Christ. And of course, I was in a state where I was always conscious of God, thinking about him, but trying my best to avoid him. But I found myself drawn to this guy because he was genuine. And he was genuine in the reason why he wanted to talk to me. And maybe a matter of months that we obviously built a strong friendship. And then I found myself invited to church with him and his family. Unfortunately, it was another couple of years before I actually graced the doors of the church, which is now City Impact Church, which I'm thankful for. But I guess I wanted to, share that impact that he had on my life because of the fact that he was just genuinely interested in me. And that made a real impact on my life. For me, not very technical in my thinking, not very academic in my knowledge base, but one thing that I feel empowered by God is to actually talk to people. That's, to me, it comes natural. It's the most simple thing that I know, it's the most natural thing that I know. People normally can read from a mile off if you're trying to push something at them or on them. So I've always found the best way to actually build into any given situation, whether a short-term situation or a long-term situation, is simply to find out about a person. That's a really, really good first step. Just take an interest in somebody. And you'll find that when you start taking interest in other people, regardless if you call yourself an introvert, an extrovert, or whatever, taking an interest in people will always lend itself for God to use you. And sometimes that is just making conversation. You know what? When I'm going into a conversation, just taking a genuine interest and maybe being the one that actually might open the case for them to start thinking about God. So I guess my encouragement to the person who's nervous is, look for opportunities, because there's opportunities everywhere. And it's not all about the Hollywood ending. Sometimes it's just about planting the thought. And what God does with that thought is incredible. And someone else will come along into that person's life and they'll build on that thought. And all of a sudden, it will really, really put a challenge in there. And I know God can actually work with a thought. If you plant a thought in someone's head, then who knows when that thought's going to come back. But I know that God is interested in that person's life, and I know that God will have his way with that person's life.